My name is Nkosi Nelson. I'm here in the capacity of a City of Leander commissioner. I'm actually a part of the Public Arts and Culture Commission. I also happen to be a LISD school board member. Shout out to the other school board member in the crowd, Sade Fashikun. Yeah. Just acknowledging we have Colleen Leaf in the house. All right. And so just welcome to the inaugural education tent at the City of Leander Juneteenth block party. Since the beginning of our Juneteenth celebration, education has been the kind of foundational pillar of this event. It's been woven into the block party, but today marks something special. For our first year, we're going to gather under a tent solely dedicated to learning, to conversation, and to growth. And so how fitting that our first presentation in this space, in the education space, is centered on public education, kind of the engine of opportunity. And so if we think about Juneteenth, it commemorates the delayed arrival of freedom to the enslaved Black Americans in Texas in 1865. But as the ancestors knew, freedom without education would never be complete. So one of the first things that the freedmen did was to build schools, freedom schools. With their own hands, they pooled their resources together, meager resources together. They hired teachers, and literacy became a tool and a symbol of liberation. Interesting data point that in 1860, right before emancipation, 90% of enslaved African Americans were illiterate. But by the 1900s, that number had been cut by more than half. It's one of the most profound educational moments in American history, and led by people that, if you remember, were denied books, pencils, and the opportunity to learn. And so, today, this legacy kind of echoes today, and we continue kind of to fight for access and equity and excellence for every student. And that's why today this conversation really matters. And so that's why education will always have a seat at the table, and especially for Juneteenth. And so it's my privilege to welcome our panel. We have Bruce Gearing, the superintendent of Leander ISD. We have Mr. DeWayne Street, the chief of educational access. We have Ms. Serenity Coats, one of our parent ambassadors and most active parents in our system. We have Jaya Coats, a student ambassador, a product of what we do. And hopefully we spend more time hearing your story and your experience today, because you probably have the most important experience for us to share. And so I'll say I know these individuals in different capacities, and all of them truly believe in the moral imperative that each and every student can and will learn. And so together, they're going to guide us through a conversation, an important dialogue, titled kind of Juneteenth and the promise of educational access for each and every. And so please join me in welcoming. And then we have Christina Hardy, our director of communications, who's going to help us to moderate and facilitate this conversation.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Trustee Nelson. Thank you. This is really quite an honor to be here among this very esteemed panel. So I'm just going to get us started. We're going to ask a few questions of our panel, and then hopefully have some time to answer some questions here at the end. But I really just want to get started. And as this mics get passed around, if you could just remember to hold the mics close to your mouth so we can all hear. Just each of you, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you're connected to Leander ISD. And we'll start with Dr. Gearing.
Hello, everybody, and what an honor and a privilege for me to be sitting here today. I love a good block party, have to say. You guys know how to do that. That music's awesome. I'm the superintendent of Leander ISD. This is the end of my 6th year as the superintendent. Came here in September of 2019 and have just had an incredible time. The people here, the students, the parents, the staff members are just absolutely incredible. So proud to be a part of this moment.
Hello, everybody. My name is Serenity Coats. I am a parent and active volunteer here in the district. I do have 4 people who have either graduated already or are still in the district. So I have Jaya, who was the class of 2024. We have a son who's the class of 2026. Then we have a daughter who's in the class of 2028. And then our final one who's class of 2031. And so I've also volunteered with a variety of different committees and organizations in Leander ISD, DWIC, the Office of Educational Access as an ambassador. I'm a part of the Site-Based Planning Committee at Leander High School with Mr. Simpson, who we've enjoyed, and Jaya and our son Jay, they are part of that committee too, as well as a member of the PTA. So I'm excited about being in this district and our conversation today.
Hi. Hi, I'm Jaya Coats, and I am a former student from the Leander ISD district. I went to Leander High School, and I graduated in 2024, and so I'm so excited to be here and share what information in my story.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is DeWayne Street. I'm the chief of the Office of Educational Access. It's a privilege to be here. I've been with the district now for about 3.5 years, and I am the inaugural chief of the office. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to our panel for your introductions. DeWayne, I'm going to start off with you first. Can you kind of set the stage for us for the historical and contemporary meaning of Juneteenth, and what does it mean to you?
You know, I think Trustee Nelson did a wonderful job framing the historical significance, so I'll just add on what he said. When we think about the Freedmen's Bureau and the schools and the need to provide access to education for the newly freed slaves, that was not only for the newly freed slaves, but for anyone who had been denied education, because there were a lot of people in the South who have been denied, but there was a special need to make sure that the newly freed slaves had that access, because you can't be truly free unless you can read and write, and they all knew that. You know, my parents were sharecroppers, and one of the proudest things that my father would say about his children was that my kids go to school, because it meant that much to them. And, you know, I think about the journey that I've had over my life and how education has opened up so many doors. Without that, none of us would have met. As someone said a while ago, education is freedom. It allows you the freedom to pursue your dreams, the freedom to take care of your family, the freedom to find your place in the world. And that's what the freed slaves wanted. They wanted their children to have access. So when I think about Juneteenth, I can see the line from the Freedmen's Bureau. I can see it to Brown versus Board of Education. And I can see it to the abolishment of the literacy test in 1965. And my office is just an extension of that aspirational need to provide access to education. And having an office like this makes that need operational. And so I'm honored every single day to do the work of making sure that each and every student in our district, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, we are enhancing educational access for them. So it's a privilege to sit in that seat and to do that work with so many wonderful people.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, DeWayne. So Dr. Gearing, can you discuss how LISD is continuing to honor the legacy of Juneteenth by what DeWayne said, enhancing educational access for each and every student?
Absolutely. So Leander ISD is 100% committed to the education of each and every student. And more than that, really igniting the passion, uncovering the uniqueness of every student and igniting their passion for learning. And that means that we really have to know each of our students really well, and we have to get them to know themselves really well. So we operate on this notion that AJ Giuliani puts out there, that our job is not to prepare students for something. Our job is to help each and every student prepare themselves for anything. We live in a rapidly changing world that requires every individual to really own their own learning and to become a lifelong learner so that they can adapt and be flexible to the changing circumstances around us. And never in my life have that been more important than what's happening in the world around us today. Our kids have got significant challenges that are going to face them, and we have the job of helping them to get ready for that moment in time when they have to step up to the plate and really become the new leaders of our country, of our world. And that's our responsibility, to make sure that we help them get ready for that moment.
And on a personal level, what does educational access mean to you personally?
So I was born and raised and grew up in apartheid South Africa, in Johannesburg, South Africa, and as a white male in that system. And so I got to see firsthand the atrocities that were lived out in that time. And I had the privilege of being at the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg in 1990 when they freed Nelson Mandela from Robben Island after 27 years of unjust imprisonment. And to watch that man come out and together with Bishop Desmond Tutu to really take on this notion of there is no blame, there's only going forward, and how do we do that in a just and now equal society, and to watch the turmoil that it took in the next 4 years to get through to 1994 when he was elected as the first democratically elected president of South Africa was truly miraculous. And there was a lot of unrest, a lot of protests and things that we're seeing right now in this country, but to watch them manage and lead through that was just an incredible experience that changed me as a person forever. And then when I came to the United States in 1998, having experienced public education and education on 3 different continents now, to see this idea in public education here that every student can be educated and should be given that same equal opportunity. And that's why I've thrived in my now almost 30 years in public education in the United States, is living through that dream of this can be true for everyone.
Woo! Inspiring. Thank you so much. Moving on to our family and our student that's here, Serenity. As a parent in this community, what has your experience been with LISD? And are there areas where we can improve the experience for our parents and our families?
So we moved to Leander. The military actually relocated us in 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And at that time, Jaya was entering her freshman year at Leander High School, and this was the 7th place that she had lived. Not the 7th school. She had attended more schools than that. And so just really throughout my experience as a military spouse and a mother, I've been exposed to a variety of school systems, whether it be the Montessori, the private education, as well as military schools. And so what I was quite surprised at is how I felt that Leander ISD stack ranks to the top educational experience that we've had, with the combination of providing access to advanced academics, which she was identified as gifted, and as well as the career and technical education. I had never seen a district mix both within their system. Most you had to apply to magnet schools, and unfortunately, as a military family, you're always too early or too late. And so when they have language immersion programs, you got there too late. When they have STEM or arts-based school, magnet schools, you got here too late. And we just, were able to place you, and now we're moving. And so it was fortunate that I feel like LISD provides an opportunity for you to jump right in. And so whether it was working with the registration office in the middle of the summer during COVID and making sure our kids were properly placed, to the school counselors who just went over and beyond to review their previous credits to make sure that they were able to continue at the level with their classes, even with our involvement with special education. I've been really just amazed at how personable and accommodating this district is. And as soon as I got involved with DWIC, I was quite impressed on how parents and community members, as well as educators and the leadership in the school district, they were used to come in and to provide their input and their insight. And for me to turn around and see it implemented sometimes within a week, I loved it. They had to kick me out of DWIC because my 4-year term was up. And so unfortunately, I was absorbed by the Office of Educational Access, which I've enjoyed that time. And I will say that because my kids are involved with a variety of things, from the arts to the athletics, to them being involved in UIL competitive organizations, I really feel like there is a safe place for us all here. I think it's important, for us to find a way to connect, to be involved, and I think what we can do as a district is make sure that everyone knows about the opportunities that are available. I mean, even with Leaf and just the sponsorship that they provide and the support, she was honored as one of the 3-star students at Leander High School in 2024. And that was such a great honor that they take the time to acknowledge the hard work of our students. But I volunteered with Leaf before at one of their galas. And so I kind of coined myself as a professional volunteer. I just recently got done with working with the Harvard University Research Initiative for rural districts on college and career readiness for 12th graders. And so when I look at what Leander ISD does with community partnerships, with preparing their graduates for life in the military, the workforce, 2-year or 4-year, I think we're one of the best districts in the nation. And so I feel like we can continue to be committed to outreach. We have a lot of events throughout the districts, and we need to make sure that they're aware of everything they can get involved in. Not every parent is as fortunate, I'm aware of that, to be as available as I am to be this involved. And so I think we have to find a way to connect them and their students. I also think that it's important for them to recognize that their voice deserves to be heard. I've had some questions or concerns with the district, and I get a response from one of the leaders from the district administrative and professional staff within 24 to 48 hours. And so I think they need to know that their voice is important, and that if they feel like they're not getting the support that they need in their actual school, that you can go, and the district is willing to listen and to do as much as possible to not customize it just to your family, but to make sure that you are aware of the things that are available. So for instance, I'll let her tell a little bit of her story, but she's been involved in a variety of things, and she was able to discover what she wants to do, and it really confirmed it. She had already had some engagement in the entertainment industry, but just because she was able to do both advanced placement classes, advanced academics, as well as other CTE programs, it directed and gave her experience beforehand to confirm this is what I want to focus on in college. And so what I love about any type of exposure, whether it be career, technical education, cooperative education, or internships, it allows a student to find out whether or not they like it, right? And so it saves a lot of time and money. And so these classes that they're exposed to, these opportunities when they're going into the elementary classes and the middle schools to talk about their CTE program, it matters because it saves a lot of time, money in the future. And I feel like, one of the things that LISD is committed to is making sure that students, after they graduate, can pursue something that they want to wake up to. I think many people find themselves in positions and in jobs that they don't enjoy. And we all know we have to be able to provide for ourselves, but I think it's important to find your passion. And so one of the things I think that, if we're more committed to outreach, if we have more parent ambassadors and student ambassadors letting people know, like, hey, there are things that you can get involved with. There is something for everybody here. I think it will help us truly embrace the one LISD community. And finally, I think we have to continue our community partnerships because we can't offer everything. We're aware of, the cuts to our public education. And so we have to be diligent about, one, reaching out, right, and letting our representatives know how we feel about public education and how we value it. But we also have to be committed to connecting with community partners. And that's why I like the fact that the district committees, they welcome community partners. There are some things we just can't offer, right? But if we have a community partnership and they are letting us know that, hey, we have this program, I'll give an example. All of my girls participated with a nonprofit on a AI project. And so last year they were able to build a chatbot for social justice. And so there are community partnerships out there that we can expose our students to. So if we can't offer it, then we can make sure they have access to that information.
It's incredible. Thank you so much. Wait, I feel like you wanted to ask something.
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Serenity, I'm going to ask you a very similar question. So, what has your experience been with LISD, and where are some of what are some of those areas where we can improve?
So I've had, personally, I've had a great experience like in Leander ISD. Like I said, I attended Leander High School, and I was involved, as my mother mentioned, in different extracurriculars such as NHS, cross country and track, Black Heritage Club, and Rotary Interact. So it was very fun to just meet different students and just volunteer, or whether it was just like helping going in the community and going to the food pantry. That was very fun as well. So it's just great to connect with other people. And I would agree, like I was very appreciative of how like Leander ISD provides those different opportunities for students to see what they want to do. Like you could take a business elective, you can do welding, you can do cosmetology. Like they have so many options, which is pretty great for the students here, because then again, like it just provides opportunity where like some people may not have the opportunity to see what they want to do or know what they do. But when they have the hands-on experience, they can do that. So I thought that was very great. I agree with what my mom said, just making sure, emphasizing the importance of how like if people want to provide their feedback, they have a space to do that. Like I was also part of the site-based planning committee, and it would be nice to see more people go there as well. And so maybe just saying it on the announcements, or just emphasizing more so parents and students can see, and then they can provide their feedback. Because I know like students have their feedback, but it's like it won't matter unless you say it. Like what they say matters, but if you want the district here, you have to go. So maybe making those like surveys more accessible, or because I know they put out surveys, but maybe more in-person surveys, like having something at the school, an event at the school, and just putting it out there so students can come and parents can come and just share what they have to say.
Okay, I'm dying to know, you're a freshman at Cincy.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know how your freshman year was and how Leander ISD prepared you.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Like I had a nice freshman year. I wasn't stressed at all. And that was because LISD provides the AP programs, the ACC programs, and I was an AP student. So I took a couple AP classes and was able to, well, it was more than a couple, but I passed all my AP exams, and my school thankfully took all my credits. So I was walking in with 48 like credits, and so I came in as a sophomore. So definitely for sure, I had a great year, and LISD does do a great help, not only with providing the opportunities of career paths, but also helping students like move forward. Like if you want to go to college, you can like save money. So I thought that was great as well, just finding ways for students to be more successful. So I like how Leander IC has that approach and that emphasis on your success.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Jaya. I feel like I've gotten to know you so well over the past few years. I find it hard to believe you could mature even more year after year. You've really blown me away.
Thank you.
But I do feel like this freshman year and the college experience has really set you on fire.
Yes, very much.
It's great. As Serenity alluded to, we had a really difficult or challenging, or I don't really know how to characterize our legislative session. So I'm gonna leave that to our leader to help explain where we are, what we're facing, and the kind of challenges that come ahead. I know that there was actually a question related to that. This is all related really to our budget environment and really what is on the horizon for education and Leander ISD.
Yes, thank you. This has been a tough legislative session. We are grateful for what the legislature has done for public schools. They did infuse $8.5 billion into public education. Part of the problem, however, is how they went about doing that and the strings that are attached to the money that is flowing. In fact, for Leander ISD, we're actually going to see about $2 million less after House Bill 2 than we had before. And that's really partially due to an unintended consequence of a bill that comes from the last session, actually not even this session, that has to do with hold harmless. And it's complicated, but we are working closely with Chairman Buckley's office and also Chairman Creighton's office to try to get that corrected right now. We lost about $10 million of revenue in that process. But there is money coming for special education. They have changed the way that they're funding special education. We're very grateful for that. That will come mostly only in the second year of the biennium. But that is an important change that will have a long-term effect over the years. And that is something that we advocated for as part of our legislative priorities that the community helped us to develop. And so we're grateful for that change. We're also grateful for the infusion of money into safety and security. That is incredibly important for us, that our staff and our students feel safe and secure in the environment as they come to school every day. And so we're grateful for some of those changes. We will continue to advocate over time for local control because every district in the state is unique, and Leander ISD has a very unique set of needs that we're trying to meet. And the more control that they can give to our school board to make those incredibly important decisions, the better off we're going to be as a community. So we are grateful for what's happened. We'll continue to advocate and to work as we go forward to make sure that the needs of each and every one of our students is met.
Excellent. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to you. We have a few more minutes for some questions. Does anyone have anything to ask of our panel?
So I have a question for you because you're at the University of Cincinnati, and I'm dying to know, well, for you to share with them what you're studying exactly and what you were exposed to in your high school career that helped get you to that decision of this is what I want to do, and now why you're passionate about it.
Yes. So I study digital media collaboration at the University of Cincinnati, and I have a concentration in film and animation. So my goal is to go in the entertainment industry and film and animation. And what Leander ISD has helped me realize in that career path was I actually, in my sophomore year, started taking animation classes that was provided at Leander High School. And then I was also able to get certified in Adobe Animate as well. So I have an Adobe Animate certification, which is pretty cool. And like that animation class helped me see, oh, I want to pursue this in the future. So this was pretty amazing, like going to this district, because that helped me realize that.
All right, we're opening it up for questions. Anyone have anything to ask of our panel?
You did say that there were going to be cuts. Is that correct? So how's that going to impact Leander ISD? How's that going to impact Leander ISD?
So the question is, well, we did make some cuts last year, and will there be additional cuts, and how it will impact Leander ISD?
Yeah, so we are currently in this 24-25 school year running a deficit budget, so that will reduce our fund balance some. We did that on purpose to make sure that we could continue to provide the education that we're providing. This spring, we cut about $15 million worth of personnel from our district in order to make sure that we can meet our budget forecast for 25-26. Currently, we're going on Thursday night to the board with a budget that's about $21.5 million deficit still. That is something that we're prepared to do one more time in order to soften the blow to our educational experience, our student experience for our staff and our students. But we are going to continue to have to examine that very carefully in the coming year. And so we will continue to work through that budget process for the 26-27 school year. We're doing everything in our power to make sure that those cuts do not affect the student experience. We're jumping into a lot of innovative ideas and really look into where can we increase revenue in the district and how can we make sure that those expenditure reductions that we're making are more efficient and more effective so that we continue to hold up that student experience as best we can.
Right. Any other?
Thank you. I have an 11th grade, rising 11th grader and 6th grader in the district. This question is for you, Jaya. I'm looking right at you. What would your freshman college self tell your freshman high school self?
That's a good question.
I would tell my freshman self, like, be yourself. Don't be afraid to just be yourself and go out there and just be open to different experiences, like such as I ran cross country and track, and just be not afraid to meet new people. You never know what ideas they can bring. So definitely that's the advice I'd give to my freshman self. Oh, and also don't procrastinate, because that will, ooh, that's so bad. When I came to college, I told myself I wouldn't procrastinate, and now I have a 4.0 GPA. So telling myself in high school, that would have helped my ranking in GPA better.
Brilliant. Congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
So I go to Vista Ridge, and I was wondering, you're talking about the different ways our district is going to be affected by the budget cuts. Are there ways students can speak out or advocate for support, just in general?
Thank you. That's an outstanding question. And yes, absolutely. You know, legislators get tired of hearing from superintendents. They get tired of hearing from board members. They love to hear from parents and the community. And most of all, they love to hear from students. And so if you will, we'd love to help you to do that. We have events during the year. This year in February, PTA Rally Day took a busload of students down to the Capitol to explain that process and to get them used to how to advocate and how to even testify in front of those committees. We did have Leander ISD students actually testifying in committees this year at the Capitol. And we'd love to help you to get involved with that and to be able to have those experiences.
All right. Any other questions? I'm sure most of us are just going to be hanging out if you want to reach out and ask us some questions. But any closing words, Dr. Gearing?
I just want to thank you for this opportunity, for coming out. It's a beautiful evening here in Leander, Texas. And the future of our schools, the future of our nation, the future of our state, the future of our globe is sitting in our public schools right now. You are the future. And so do not be afraid to speak up for what's important to you. Have your voice heard, because that is how we will make the change that is necessary to continue to be the successful community that we are here in Leander and in Cedar Park, but also in our state and in our nation. So do not be afraid to step up to the plate and do what you know is right in your heart.
Thank you so much for being here. We enjoy your participation. Again, like I said, we'll be here hanging out if you want to come and meet us. Thank you.